Hello everybody, this is quixQuery here, and today we are back to play some more Hermit Pack on the Hermitcraft server. I'm having a ton of fun playing this pack right now. Everything is going great. We have been doing a bit of work on the dam, just hooking things up as far as power goes, making sure things go smoothly there, and so all we've done is we've added kinetic dynamos for each and every water wheel, spaced them out a little better, more evenly, and we have these low voltage capacitors from immersive engineering, and they are essentially like batteries. They will store 100 kerf. Yeah, so that's pretty simple right there. And then everything else is just wired all the way back to over where everything else is. And so the only thing we're missing is just one low voltage connector right here, and I just haven't made that yet. But we will get there eventually. That's interesting. I wonder why it's not going... Oh, because this is an output. Because, okay, so in order to use these low voltage capacitors, you have to set things as input or output on the side using your engineer's hammer. And so you right click on it, and that will change it. And blue is input, orange is output. And see, now that we have it on blue, it is filling up with energy, and things are going great. But when we switch it to orange, it stops filling up with energy, and it will only output it to this low voltage wire connector right here. But we have a lot more steel scaffolding and all that stuff going on right here. It's going really well. I'm really pleased with how this is turning out, and we can even probably make some more and put some more in there. We're pretty close to getting all of that done, but we need to start thinking about some ore processing, because we are getting to that stage. We need to start thinking about some ore processing, and I wanted to use mechanism for that. But the problem is that mechanism requires quite a bit of power, and you know that's not really a problem necessarily, so much as I don't really have a place for all my power yet. And so my thought is, for the moment, is that we will make a power room somewhere, and I'm not sure where that's going to be yet, but we will figure it out, make a power room, and do some stuff as far as that goes. So I decided to hop into a creative testing world and make up our little power station, what it's going to look like, and this is it, and I'm actually very, very happy with how this turned out right here. You can see we actually have transformers and stuff like that, and a massive battery here in the center, and all that stuff. It's looking very, very good. And so essentially what the thought is that wires of different types will come in right here, and some of this is kind of just for aesthetics, because I know we're not going to have this many wires coming in, but it'll still look really cool like this. And so, and then these will be our wires going out, and that's not quite as dramatic of a thing, but if I want to, I can do a similar type deal as I did over here as well. And so those are that's how we're going to be putting power into the thing, is using immersive engineering. However, all of our wiring underground is going to be done using other cables, so not the immersive engineering wires and stuff like that underground, because all of our underground stuff will be more technically it will require more power and all that other stuff, and so we will need to use better cables than what we have right here in order to provide all of our underground stuff with power. Okay, so I am wandering around right here trying to figure out where on earth I'm going to put this thing, and I am really struggling to figure out a place where I actually want to put this. And so I think what I'm going to do is terraform this place a little bit, get it in kind of a shape that the shape I want it to be in around this area, and then we can find one of the leftover flat spots and put the power plant there. So here I am clearing out space and thinking about how I want things to go, paths to look, and different things like that. And I want a lot of my base to be out in front here of this mountain right here. And so we've kind of started that basic process right here with the dam and all this stuff, including the fields of hemp right there. Being shielded from any possible overflow of water that might come up that direction. And so we have this whole area right here that's going to end up being flooded, and we might we'll probably make a good chunk of this section right here a lot deeper, and make the rest of this deeper too. And so this will be like connected to the rest of the waterways all along in this area right here. And so the dam will be holding back a lot of water, and not only will it have flooded this area, but it will also reached all the way back to the rest of the water all the way over there and stuff like that. And so that'll be a big part of this. Now I kind of have started terraforming a little more around other areas as well. But then I started thinking, and I'm like, well, there's not really anywhere around here that I would want to put something like that, because I want it to be somewhat central, so that things underground can reach that power. However, I also kind of want it to be, in a somewhat realistic position, because, I mean, you can't put it right here, because, then the water would come up and flood it, and that would be no good. You don't really want it too close to the water, because if it's too close to the water, then bad things happen, you know, electricity, water. And so I was like thinking, well, where on earth else in our base would we be able to place this? And then I came back here and looked at this area right in here and thought, oh my goodness, this is perfect. And so this is what we're doing. And so I need to clear this out, flatten it out a bit, and think about a path coming up to this area right over here. So I plotted out the area that we need to build this thing, and I realized that this hill right here is getting in the way, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not doing a whole lot. And so we're probably just going to terraform this hill out of this bit of the hill out of the way. We'll still keep this mountain bit right there, but this bit of the hill is going to be flattened out for the most part, and we'll be able to see out in this direction as well as in that direction much more easily. And so we have a basic path coming, you know, just from down here, and if we come down here, you can see that's our biome radar, that's our redstone, and then over here is to the dam. And so this is kind of just a basic little pathway. This obviously has a lot of refining still to do. I'm just kind of getting the basic structure down right now, and getting some terraforming some stuff, getting it out of the way, and getting things set and ready for us to be able to build this thing right over here. Aha, so here is the little area in its terraformed state, and I think it is looking pretty good. And so we have some, you know, cliffside right over there, some nice sloping hills on in some other spots, and, you know, just stuff like that. Replaced a lot of stone with dirt, which is why the grass hasn't spread there yet, and we have our area right here for the what's it called? Electric, what is it called? Ah, our power station. There we go. That's what we're going to call it, the power station. And so now we want to make up a bunch of different wires and cables and stuff for the storage of power in the center as well. So now we have a bunch of different types of connectors, and so now the next step is to get 3 of each type of transformer. Okay, so now I've started getting the framework down a little bit. We have our transformers down, both the high voltage and the regular transformers, and now we can start placing our connectors down and connecting things up. The only thing that we'll be missing right now is the massive capacitor bank in the middle, from Ender.io to to store power right there. But that will be going right here, and that is still something we have to do. We're just going to get around to that in a little bit instead of exactly right now. Things are starting to be connected up, and we need to put the fence around the outside at some point. I might do that next. I might make the capacitor bank next. I might do both next. We'll see. Aha, so I just did the capacitor banks next, apparently. I made 16 capacitor banks. They're in this formation right now. Nothing too fancy about it. Everything is hooked up with the high voltage wire connectors, etc. It looks pretty cool in my mind. And we'll just have to see how this ends up turning out in the end. But next step is to put the fence on, and after the fence, then we have to wire things together, and then we can step back, look at it, and see how cool it looks. Okay, so obviously we are not going to be able to do the fence today because we are completely and totally out of iron, and so that would be a major setback in our plans. However, we can still wire up the dam and windmill and stuff to our thing right around over here, our power station, which will be super awesome. Okay, so even though we didn't get the whole thing finished today, I think this was a very successful episode because we have now all of our capacitor banks over here, including the 2 we used to have over there. And now all of this is connected up, and you can see if we just come around the corner, right back up to all of the stuff over here. And so that is super awesome, and I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, anyway, it's looking really great. Again, we'll still have to, we still have a lot of things to clean up, a lot of things to do. We still have to get the fence around the outside and get the output stuff running, as well as finish up this capacitor bank right here with more capacitor banks and all that jazz. But as far as this episode is concerned, I am very pleased with how it has turned out so far. And so let me know what you think down in the comments if you want to. But that's about all the time I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.